I am of the firm believer that people overcomplicate what they wear to the office. And so I'm here to give you 5 items that I think you need in your wardrobe if you want to look good and actually have the ability to take your outfit from day to night and maybe even from inside the office to out of the office. Stay tuned. Hey my loves, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Rachel. We do all things styling, fashion, lifestyle content on the channel. If you are new, whether it was the title or the thumbnail that brought you here, I hope you stay tuned and subscribe and enjoy today's video, of course. And those of you who've been here before, welcome back, my darlings. So as you can see by the title of today's video, we are doing something that I think hopefully is useful to you and something you want to think about maybe even as we transition into the warmer weather. But this is a year-long application to really get you to a place where your office wear or your work wear serves you both in and outside of work. So let's get into it. Now, if we're thinking about a wardrobe, I really do think people overcomplicate this, and there are so many ways to simplify your life. It took me some time to realize this, and some time being years, to really realize that I need a wardrobe, or I need items in my wardrobe for the most part. And I'm talking at least, this should be 70% of your wardrobe, in my opinion, in which these are items that you can wear in different scenarios. In this main case, for the context of this video, work. Now, granted, the caveat to that is some of you may be in positions, roles, jobs, sectors where you have a uniform, which in that case, honey, you are sorted. You don't really have to worry about this too tough. But for those of us who need to think about what we're going to wear to work day to day or every other day, this video is definitely for you, and hopefully it will be useful as well. If we're thinking of the first thing that I'm going to mention you should have in your wardrobe and should maybe have some options of this particular item as well, it's probably no surprise, blazers. I feel like blazers they give that perception of, you know, boss babe, but most people think, oh, I'm only wearing a blazer if I'm in a really, really serious environment or a really, really serious role. And to be fair, I say that, and I do acknowledge that actually the attitudes towards this particular item of clothing have changed a little bit, and I want to double down on that. Blazers are such a versatile piece to have in your wardrobe. First and foremost, we have to acknowledge they can come in so many different styles, so many different fits, so many different materials, silhouettes, so on and so forth. If we're thinking of blazers and acknowledging that I've mentioned this video and these tips are for all year round, you can have blazers in the wool material, you can have linen blazers, you can have cropped blazers, so on and so forth. Blazers, I think, are the easiest way to have an item that can transition from being part of your outfit to outerwear, and also just give that element or that vibe of, oh, this outfit is put together. Now, with that being said, I appreciate blazers may seem too serious or too stuffy for some people, but I really think it depends on how you wear it. If you're going for pushing up the sleeves, something that is slit at the back or slit at the sides, or is a particular pattern or print, it could be pinstripe, gingham, who knows. There are ways to kind of play up what is deemed to be a serious, quote unquote, item that really allows you to kind of play with your wardrobe and play with the item itself. If I'm thinking about my wardrobe, I have a range, like I mentioned, whether it's cropped, lighter tones, darker tones, more boxy shoulders, so we're talking really oversized, pronounced shoulders, tailored blazers that really, really nip in at the waist. We've got long line blazers, and all of them give me a way, or they give a different energy depending on the outfit or what I'm going to wear it with. Now, I will say for myself, I am in a position where I can wear jeans. I do have a very relaxed dress code for work, but I've been there and done it where it's very much formal, not even casual, formal outfits to work. And blazers obviously are one of the easiest ways to do that. Granted, if you're someone who feels like, actually, how am I going to wear this outside of work? Very, very simply, even if you can't wear jeans to work, that's an easy way to wear your blazer and casual it down. Pair it with jeans, pair it with a skirt. Some people even wear it with like cargos, depending on how you're going to style it. These are all ways to take something that's a bit more formal and make it more casual. Now, again, if you're someone that, you know, naturally you do wear blazers outside of work, then this is a win-win for you. Pick items and pick silhouettes that really help you just play with different silhouettes. And especially if you're going long line, then if you're petite enough, you can definitely wear it as like a blazer dress, for example. So yeah, blazers for sure. I've got to the point where I'm like, okay, honey, you probably shouldn't buy any more blazers, but ooh, some of the ones I've seen recently, I'm just like, ooh, I can't let you go. I can't let you go. And if you've seen some of my recent videos, you probably know one of the ones I'm referring to, which I'll probably put a clip of here, but just iconic. She is the moment. Just yum. Yum, 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 yum. Next on my list, and something that I think is easily overlooked, which I kind of group in the same or similar-ish family to blazers, are cardigans. Again, if you are not new to my channel, so you've been here, you know me and cardigans, we go together real bad. Because cardigans, to me, again, have that versatility of being able to be dressed up and dressed down. For example, I'm wearing this cardigan today, which is actually old Zara, so I cannot link it, I'm afraid, but they probably have something very, very similar. But you can see it's in this sort of like grey, mild, black and white mix. Say that to say, there are different prints, different textures, again, different cuts, silhouettes, lengths that you can go for. And again, you guys will know I've said on my channel so many times, I love wearing cardigans as tops. So what an easy way to sort of interchange what you use it as or how you wear it, how you layer with it. And I feel like cardigans are overlooked because typically if you're thinking of, you know, workwear or a wardrobe, I just think it's one of those layers that people do skip. Even if you're thinking about transitioning, cardigans are such a good way to, especially if you're like me and you have a very cold office, they're a really nice way to add another layer to your outfit, one that you can take on and take off as you please. Or like I said, if you do what I do very, very often, which is to wear them as a top, then imagine, as I've just mentioned, a blazer, you could have a cardigan, wear it as a top, and then wear a blazer on top of that. Easily as it gets into the colder seasons, layering with cardigans again, whether you're going to have, you know, crew neck, vest top, whatever underneath, and then still wearing something on top of that, is such an easy way to not be too bulky, but still have interesting layers to your outfit. And it allows you to play around with textures, colors, so on and so forth. And you can really play with the looseness, the thickness of the materials, as I've mentioned. And again, I just think, honestly, when I've heard of people talking about workwear or kind of like what's to add if you're building almost like a workwear capsule wardrobe, that sort of vibe, I don't feel like people really mention cardigans, and I'm an advocate. I stan cardigans. So yeah, that's definitely number 2 on my list. Something else that I think is such an easy way to just elevate your workwear, and this is more so if you don't want to do a complete overhaul, but you do want to show some intentionality, maybe you just want to change up the style, let them know you've arrived. Handbags. I've always said on my channel, I'm more of a bag babe. I do love shoes, but I'm more of a bag babe for sure. And I think this idea of, and I don't know if it came from then when we used to do like what's in your bags, like on YouTube and stuff, like lit, might do one of those again. I feel like it's very easy to assume that, you know, you have one bag for this and one bag for that, so on and so forth. If you're living a minimalist lifestyle, then maybe so. And I've spoken about that on my channel before, you know, how you might want to lean into that. I'll link the videos below. But if you are someone that maybe you aren't a minimalist, or you do want to have variations, you do want to play around with these things, I think handbags are the easiest way to really add something to an outfit that maybe is otherwise relatively simple or pared back or laid back. Or maybe just a way to jazz up what you already have without doing a complete overhaul of your wardrobe. For me, if I'm thinking work, I do have maybe a rotation of 4 to 5 bags that I go through, and these vary in size, they vary in color, they vary in texture. And usually I kind of will have a selection of bags that I know can fit everything I'm going to need in my working day, but can still add a little bit of fun to the outfit. Now, granted, we know bag charms and all of that has been very, very much in, and has been in for some time now, should I say. So that's another way to maybe change up some of the looks that your existing bags have. But I do think handbags are a way to really just tie together your workwear. So for example, like I said, my rotation of like 4 to 5 bags, I've got sort of like my long east-west looking bag. I've got my suede sort of bigger bag, which is in brown. Both of those are in sort of like a brown and a tan brown. I've got my black bag. I have different silhouettes and different shades that work with different outfits that I might want to wear throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. And I think bags, especially because if you're someone that has to carry quite a lot, or you just have to carry a bag to work, I think bags can easily be forgotten as like the final piece to your outfit. I've said like 4 or 5. You can definitely have a bigger range. You can have a slightly smaller range if you wish to. But I think handbags are one of the easiest ways to just give the outfit a little something, a little je ne sais quoi, a little sprinkle, something just to bring everything together. And not for nothing, bags are probably one of the easiest ways to, especially if you have a strict dress code at work, one of the easiest ways to show a little bit of flavor and sauce without breaking any rules. So bear that in mind. Second to last of my 5 things that I think could really help you elevate your wardrobe and that are necessary in a workwear wardrobe: trousers. Now, I would say this is a little bit biased because I'm not really a skirt girly. I do prefer trousers, whether it's jeans, you know, or just like formal trousers or whatever it is. But I think trousers are perfect. Now, again, this will be dependent on how flexible or lax your workplace rules are when it comes to your workwear. But trousers, I'm thinking you can go culottes, you can go, and I'm being very cheeky here, long shorts. Technically, I'm just going to put them in that same sort of category. I know they're different. You could go wide leg, you could go carrot shape, you could go balloon. There are so many different shapes that I think you can play with, in my opinion, as opposed to skirts, which I know there's different hems, you know, asymmetric, you want to go voluminous, you might want to go skirt, shirt, whatever it is. But I feel like trousers really just, I think they kind of play into that almost like boss babe vibe, again, power suit vibe, but you can really play with the silhouette depending on the weather and depending on what you're wearing. So even if you wanted to keep it like really, really cute, you could almost wear some, oh, the word's gone off my head. We don't call it pedal pushers apparently. What are they called now? Capris. You could wear capris with a shirt and a blazer, again, depending on what your workwear, the formalities are, what the rules are saying. You could wear wide leg trousers. I just think trousers really give you a variation that I prefer. Skirts are great, but I feel like skirts can kind of teeter-totter on being a little bit inappropriate depending, again, on your workplace, because some places are so strict. But I'm like, with trousers, you can't really do any wrong. Although, mini story time, I remember wearing leather trousers to work and I definitely got pulled up on that. In my humble opinion, it's just because I had a little junk in the trunk, because I don't think I would have been pulled up otherwise. But hey ho, you live and you learn. And then last but not least, shoes. Now, I know you're thinking, shoes, Racheal? I'm sure there's other things that should be on this list. I will get into that into a second. But shoes, very, very similar to my narrative about bags. Shoes are a cheat code because you can't really get told off for your shoes. Unless, again, you're in an environment where you're not allowed to wear open-toe shoes, which I know is a thing in some environments. You can't wear open-toed shoes. But shoes, I feel like, are a cheat code as well, because even if you're not going super casual like trainers, I think there's so many gray areas that it's kind of like if someone was to say something, it's like, oh, you just have time on your hands today, which again is not always, impossible. That does happen. But I feel like with shoes, again, I said in one of my recent videos, or last week's video actually, so if you haven't checked that out, watch it afterwards, about shoes making or breaking an outfit. And I think for workwear, I just feel like if we're talking about actually being stylish, this is dressing with intention, right? Shoes, I feel like, just help you do that. Pointed toe, round toe, square toe. Heeled, not heeled. Textured, not textured. Color, you decide. You've got options. And I feel like shoes, as I've said, so not to repeat myself, really can make or break an outfit. And I think, again, in the workplace, it's just one of those things that maybe you don't necessarily think about. Now, granted, I know comfort is definitely going to play into this, because if you're talking about working 8, 9, 10, 12-hour days, then you want comfortable shoes. But the Huns know this is where you keep, you know, some shoes at work if you can, some comfy shoes, something that you can switch in and out of. But if you are just wearing flats, then I think it's a really nice way just to add a little bit of razzle dazzle to your outfit and just, again, tie everything together. So yeah, shoes. Honestly, that would be my 5th one. Now, if we're talking workwear essentials, I know probably people are thinking, you didn't talk about no tops. You didn't mention a button-down shirt. You didn't talk about nothing like that. But the reason I didn't mention any of those as my personal top 5 is because I feel like that is a large area in itself. And hear me out. I have told you my top 5, or the 5 considerations I would make would be blazers, cardigans, trousers, shoes, and handbags. The top you wear will really change and depend again on the environment. And I want this to be flexible for you guys and something that you can kind of play with a little bit. Everything I've mentioned so far, the top you wear will just feed into that. So if you have a working environment that's a bit more chilled, then you might want to wear some wide leg trousers with a vest top and a cardigan. If you have someone that's a bit more formal, you might want to wear a blouse with some trousers and a blazer, or you might want to wear a shirt with a blazer, or just a shirt, like an Oxford shirt or a linen shirt, whatever it may be. You may be able to wear a bodysuit, you might be able to wear a polo neck, you might want to wear a jumper. There's so much that can go on your top half, but I really think if we're talking workwear, something or pieces that you could add to your wardrobe that will work in any scenario, especially as I said, in and out of work. I think the things that I've mentioned are what I would take most consideration on all 4, because the top that you wear, you probably already have tops. I don't know, is that weird to say? I don't know if that's a weird assumption. I feel like most people have a range of tops, whereas people maybe don't have blazers in their wardrobe, or maybe they don't have cardigans, or they haven't really got a range of shoes or bags. So that's why those were part of my top 5. I hope the rationale makes sense. But you definitely could interchange between vest tops, bodysuits, cami tops, blouses. There's so much you could do, but that's the part where I'm like, make the most of what you have already. And I think if you're already in the working environment, you probably have the shirts, you probably have the tops that you need. So the other items I've mentioned are how you can kind of jazz it up. So my darlings, those were the 5 things that I think personally could help you build the perfect workwear wardrobe. And especially if you're going down more the capsule wardrobe route, then these are the things I would say maybe you need to integrate or could integrate that will add to things that you probably already have and can take it from being more casual to more dressy, or formal should I say, or more sort of out of work to workplace appropriate. To be workwear appropriate is kind of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, those would be my top 5. If you have made it to the end of the video, my darlings, leave a work emoji. It could be a briefcase, it could be shoes, it could be a building, whatever you think and associate with work, leave an emoji in the comments below. And do let me know if there's anything that you feel like you need in your top 5, or anything that you've added to your wardrobe that's really helped you make the most of being able to take items and wear them inside work but outside of work as well. As I said, I'm such a big advocate for the majority of my wardrobe being something I can wear to work, because ultimately that's where I spend the majority of my time. So there's no point in half of my wardrobe being useless to me on the weekends, or if I'm going out, brunch, dinner, whatever it is. So I've really brought those 2 worlds together, and honestly, it's meant and made sure that I get so much more wear out of my wardrobe. So I'm really hoping you guys can do the same. Till the next one, my darlings, stay well, stay blessed, good vibes only. Sunday 7 p.m. a new video will be with you, Hans, and I hope to see you then. Subscribe. Bye.